Hi, I'm Tom Kaiser, and I'm here to talk to you today about green burials. My wife passed away some time back, and we chose a green burial. The reason being, for her, she walked to a different drummer, and it fit her lifestyle and her personality. We did it at Hip and Steels, was very well taken care of and very well orchestrated. The nice part about it was we could choose how we wanted it done, and that makes it a lot easier for us anyway. It gives us choices rather than what we're accustomed to. Where she's buried at, it's going to be prairie grass and wildflowers, back to natural as Indiana was 150 years ago.
Tom, why did you and your family choose green burial?
It was something new, and an article had come out in the paper shortly before she passed away, and she said that really sounded interesting. So when she did pass, my family and I got together and we decided that it was different, that fit her personality, because she kind of walked to a different drummer all of her life. She was in the Marine Corps, she was an artist, she was a teacher. So that fit her, and it really worked well for her personality.
Tell me how you felt at the cemetery as we were going through the ceremony. What was different about it, and how did it make your family feel?
It was really touching and meaning for us. The Marine Corps was there with the flag and did the flag ceremony. As we carried the casket to the gravesite, we really didn't think that all the people there would come along, but they did. And I put the first shovel of dirt in, which was, a lot of people find that hard, but I found it a good closure. It was also surprising to me that everybody else then followed and put a shovel of dirt in. And this is really out of the norm for what we do today. Years ago, that was the norm, but today, you don't see that very often. And it was a great closure for me.
That day, I think it was your daughter-in-law or your daughter, someone in the family made a comment about how much she loved camping. And there was the smell of a fire smoldering and the smoke from it, and raindrops on the trees. It was really quite a meaningful day, wasn't it? It was just so different than what we're used to. I noticed that people didn't want to leave. Yes. That they just, there was something comfortable about being there and talking with everyone, and no one was in a hurry to leave.
Yeah, we stayed quite a while, which is really unusual. We had a brief shower, just enough. Somebody made the comment, tears from heaven. It was quite nice. We all stood around and talked. I don't know, I suppose we were there after the burial probably close to a half an hour. And a lot of people commented afterwards of how relaxed that seemed and how appropriate that seemed.
And the participation by everyone, instead of people just standing around waiting for the minister or the clergy to say, the service is concluded. Everyone just milled around and talked, and like you said, they all shoveled in some of the dirt. So they all participated rather than just standing there.
And I still get a lot of comments about that, from friends, from strangers that I've talked to. They say that's really something interesting that they had never thought about that.
Must have been a little strange being the very first one.
It was real strange. When we made that decision, we were told, she's the first one, so we're going to try to work through it, and we did. It came off without a hitch. It looked appropriate. It looked natural. Sometimes we get too formal, I think, with funerals, and this was more relaxed, a more natural setting. Burials are very personal, and what's right and comfortable for one person may not be right and comfortable for another. Green burials have a couple of advantages. I think they're more personal, and it's green. You know, we're all thinking more now about the future of this planet, which I think the green burial is a big step forward in that process. It's a whole different feeling than what you normally get when you go to the funeral. I mean, usually after the graveside service, everybody just splits, or they look around at where they've got family members. It made me feel good that I got to give her her last tribute on earth with what I thought she would really want. And one thing that she'd always requested was that she wanted the funeral service to be done in church, which we did. And with the comments she made as we were driving to Indianapolis that day, I think the green burial would have really pleased her. I've gone back out over the course of the year and taken pictures of how it's changed out there, excuse me, which has been kind of interesting to watch how things are progressing. Like when I'm out there and I'm parked and I'm standing over there in the middle of the woods, and other people come out to the cemetery, they kind of look at you like, what's he doing clear up there? There's nothing there. It's got a field rock that came from the cemetery with her name, date of birth, and date of death. It also has a Marine Corps emblem engraved in it. My son, when we were out there making the arrangements, my son says, well, we ought to put number 1 on the rock, jokingly. And I forget who was showing us now, but anyway, he says, was that because she's number 1 in your heart? He says, no, because she's the number 1 green burial. And so that's what was on the rock. In high school, she was one of those people that never studied, never cracked a book. She'd carry a stack of books home, carry them back the next day, never studied, straight A's. Got out of high school, went to Purdue for, I can't remember, a year or 2 years, and decided that wasn't enough excitement. Vietnam was going on, so she joined the Marine Corps. And she was stateside the whole time she was in. But once a Marine, always a Marine is a true statement. That woman was a Marine every day of her life. She taught school, mainly as helpers, worked a lot with special ed kids. She decided she wanted to become an artist, so she became quite an accomplished artist. She just, if she set her mind to doing something, she could do anything she wanted, and she would work at it until she accomplished it. And it was a privilege being married to that woman. As we had 36 good years. We camped. We did a lot of things that people kind of wondered if we were nuts sometimes, but we had a good time together. It was a celebration of her life, and we got to sit around and talk and discuss stories of the last 36 years that we were married, and things that we'd done and things that had happened. And so it really was a celebration of life. My son had said to me, I don't know if it was the day of the funeral or afterwards, he says, you know, Dad, if we never do anything right again, we did this right. It was great to be a part of it for something different, knowing that she would have been so pleased with what way things were handled. And it's been nice afterwards being able to help people and answer questions that may help them make decisions as they go. Because when the time comes, you're never prepared and you've got all these decisions to make in a hurry. And if we can think about it beforehand and let our family members know what we want, it makes it a whole lot easier on the family members. That's less they have to deal with.